The recording has started. I will post this recording in the announcements after the class is over. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so here we are. You should be seeing the course homepage now. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize, my volume. So hopefully that's better. Let me just go into the announcements real quick. So, I've been faithfully posting the links to the class and the video in the announcements. So if you're looking for that to review, if in the event you have to miss class, then you know where you can find the recordings that I make available. I had a couple of students emailing me asking me, where do I find the recording? So I just want to make sure that everybody, remind students once again. So here we are, the weekly overviews, and this week your task is to deal with an experiment dealing with density. And you can see some of the concepts that are fit after you finish the density experiment and go through the lab report and post lab. For those of you who have me for lecture, density was one of those derived properties that we talked about, which means that you can obtain density by combining other properties. And in this case, we know that density involves a combination of mass and volume. And in lecture class, we looked at density, the volume portion of density from the perspective of a length volume, where you're getting units like centimeters cubed because you're combining length property. And we looked at liquid volume, which, a lot of times we associate with fluids. In that case, we'll be dealing with units like milliliters, liters, gallons, fluid ounces, so on and so forth. So, of course, that's something that you're going to have to be dealing with too, the appropriate units for density, the density formula, how you change one property and how it affects the other properties that are involved in the density relationship. And so, I always like to make sure that you have an idea, well, what kind of things I'm going to get out of this? What things should I be learning as a result? Because then you can go back and check yourself and say, do I fully understand these things, right? That's the purpose of having these objectives there for you. I know a lot of times students gloss over that stuff. Like, yeah, that's not, that looks pretty, but it, I really don't focus on that. Well, actually you should be, because if you're not able to do these things when you finish this, then it means something's missing and you need to be asking questions. All right. So if nothing else, you use this as a checklist to determine where your gaps are at. Okay. And then you can reach out to me to, to get help in filling those gaps. All right. So here are the activities that you have on your plate by this Saturday. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the experiment here in just a moment. We'll look at what you're going to actually turn in. I'll cover the information on the post-lab discussion, and we'll talk about how you submit things, and of course, class questions. If you have questions, you can post them there, or you can email me. I try to respond, as quickly as possible. But I always tell students, if I don't catch this fast enough for you, just shoot me an email. All right. But these are the things that you have on your plate by Saturday. Incredibly so, I'm still getting emails from students saying they don't know where to find things. And I would think by now, we're maybe in like week 4, you would know where to find what you need. But in the event you don't, the assignment items and deadlines and information is always in the weekly overviews. Okay. And I've also provided some resources here for you. My suggestion to you is come and look at these notes and look at the practice problems that are solved before you jump into the experiment. That way you refresh yourself. You have, your background is right in the forefront. This background information, I should say, is right in the forefront when you attack the experiment. And so that can kind of be a guide to you, okay? But these are some things that I dealt with in lecture class. So, if you have me, you have a background. Excuse me just for a moment there. I had to, got the sneezes or whatever here. So didn't want to be rude. All right, so what I'm going to do now is go ahead into the experiment, okay? So this is the experiment handout. All right. And so what you do is you click on a link and it opens up this page. And I'm using this simulation website because before I had a different simulator, but when Flash Player stopped working, I couldn't use that anymore because it wouldn't play in the browser, and they haven't developed an HTML5 version just yet. So I had to find an alternative. And I got this information from a colleague, and I'm really, really liking this because they give you so much information right up front, okay? So when you get to this website, you need to review the items there, okay? The theory, procedure, animation, the videos, and then complete the simulation, okay? So review the items that are here and then complete the simulation by clicking on this tab. And, the procedure tells you what to do, right? So you follow along with that. And then once you've completed the simulation, I want you to answer the Viva Voice questions. There are questions under here, Viva Voice, and I want you to answer those questions. There are, looks like 20 questions, right? Okay. Answer those 20 questions. Now, I had students ask me, how do I go about doing that? You just click on a little button, whatever choice you make, you click on a button. And then once you're done with that, print the page, okay? And you can go up in your browser's menu options and do print. I don't know your exact computer, so the how you get to the print button might be a little bit different depending on your browser. But the idea is, okay, you want to print out this page with your answers marked. I had a student ask me,
any other way to turn that in other than printing?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So a student emailed me and said, I don't have a printer. Can I just write the question down and tell you and give you my answer choice? I said, sure. And then, if you write that down or type it out, fine, just email me the file. If you print this page and mark your answers and you take a picture of it or scan it, as long as I can read your choices, we're good. Okay. So there are multiple options. The idea is that by whatever method you have available to you, you want to send me your answers to those 20 questions. Write or type out the question and write or type out your choice. If you're doing handwritten or type, you don't have to do all of the other choices. Just give me the one you're choosing. If you're answering it right here and printing out the page, see, I gave you the information on how to print out the page. Don't print it out where it comes out of your printer. When you do file print it as a PDF, and then it'll save it on your computer as a file with your answers marked. Okay. And then you just send me that file, just like you send me any other file. Most of the time, if you turn in assignments to me, you're sending me a document. When you print this out as a PDF, it's going to be a document. Email it to me. Okay. Email the printout to me. There's my email. Okay. And that's pretty much the experiment. Okay. So you go in, look at all the resources they provided, Go into the simulator, use the procedure, and then when you're done, answer the questions. And the questions are what you're going to send me. And that's why it tells you in the what goes in the lab report. For lab report number 3 on mass, volume, and density, please read the instructions carefully, complete the required activities, and answer the questions. You will turn in a handout in lieu of the typical lab report. So in this case, the Viva voice questions is the handout. That's what you're going to send to me. That is your lab report.
So the questions are our lab report then, right?
That's what I just said.
Oh, I'm sorry. You must have cut out.
Yep. Anybody else? Questions about what it is you're going to do and what you're going to turn in? Okay. Let's take a look at the post-lab discussion. So the post-lab discussion requires that you answer these 5 questions about density, and then you reply to 2 of your classmates regarding their answers about density. And the goal here is that there's a genuine engagement with your classmates. Just like if you were having a discussion in class with them or you were working in teams to answer these questions, you would engage your classmates on that level. So, maybe something that they've done is not really like, there's something's wrong about it. And you want to express to them, hey, look, I know, on question number 2, this is what you put, but really, this is kind of where you should be going with this answer. Or, hey, you shared some information here that I didn't think of, or, just something to show me that you really did look at what they wrote and you really are trying to critique it or expand on what they posted. Okay. Not just, I like your answers or I agree or we got the same thing. That's, that's neither here nor there. That doesn't show that you're really trying to go deeper with this material. And that's what I'm really looking for, a deeper level of engagement. Okay. All right. So that's the experiment. That's the lab report. That's the post lab. Again, I told you in the handout to email me your items, but just in the event you didn't catch that, here's information on how you can send me your items. In this particular case, I shouldn't be getting things like Mac pages or some HEIC files or something like that. You have to send me a PDF or Word document. Even pictures are fine. But some of these other file formats, I cannot open them on my computer. Okay. So you have to use one of these acceptable formats. And I've had to respond to students when they send me their assignments and saying, hey, wait, I can't open that. Please use one of the formats in the submission instructions. Okay. Any questions about that? And then finally, if you have any questions while you're working, you can drop a line in the class questions forum. I do apologize. I've been a little bit under the weather and I hadn't been checking it as regularly as I'd like to, but this weekend, I've made as my goal to get caught up on all the grading and everything else that I've got on my plate that I wasn't able to get to because I was sick. So I'll be responding to you, in your emails and what have you, if I've not done it here in the next day or so. So I appreciate your patience on that. Okay. Any questions about anything I've covered for this week? All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. And if you don't have any questions for me, we are done. I will post this short recording here, as soon as I can get access to it. The system sometimes is a little bit slow with creating the recording. So I'll post it as soon as I have access to it. And other than that, I'll see you back here next Thursday.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Have a good day.
Jonathan, do you have a question for me? Jonathan, Paul Grenier, do you have a question for me? All right, well, class is over.